Hello everyone. I wanted to go through my builds in PvP. What builds I play, it's gonna be a mix of SD and DP. I'm also gonna go through my builds in World vs. World since you guys ask about those builds quite a lot. But we'll start out with SD, which is the most common build you'll see in PvP right now, both in high end and in normal ranked. So we start with the sigils. Sigil of Exploitation, it's a given, it's the best sigil you can have for damage. There's no discussion about having this one. The second sigil, however, is basically, it's just a preference. Honestly, I've swapped between so many different sigils. Right now I play with Sigil of Compounding, but mostly due to ATs or monthly ATs or any tournament, because when you play together with a Scourge, you don't really like you have a lot of condi pressure already, so that already you do more damage basically. I've been running mostly Revocation for focusing Firebrands, but then you think about it, that's just one less boon to corrupt for the Necro. So, but yeah, if you don't like compounding, you can basically run Courage, you can run Revocation. Hell, I've even run some Sigil of Purging just to get rid of weakness or some other condi on me. So it's just a preference on what you want to play yourself. On shortbow, cleansing, given. I would never swap out cleansing. It's just too good. Free condi to get to remove. Second sigil, same here. It's up to you what you want to remove. If you don't like sigil of agility, I like it because I'm playing SD, so I don't have access to that much swiftness. The only two or three sources that I have from swiftness is steel. If I run Thrill of the Crime, but we will go over that later. But swiftness, other than dodging or sword 2, you gain swiftness, but it's not that much. Like, you don't want to spend your dodges when you're moving around the map. Plus the quickness is quite lovely on shortbow with clusters, etc. But the other option would be energy. Energy sigil. I don't like it anymore because it only gives you half a dodge. It doesn't even give you a full dodge. That's why I don't like it that much, but I do run it sometimes. You can. I've also seen some people run annulment. It's also possible if you want to. I just think about it this way. Whenever I swap to shortbow, it's for two reasons. Either I'm too pressured to jump into cleave, then annulment I don't feel like it's gonna give any value, or two, if I'm disengaging a fight that is already won or lost, that's when I see I don't have any use of annulment. In a 1v1 versus another thief, not so much either. Versus Revenant, not so much either. So that's why. And I run Rune of Infiltration. This is they actually fixed this in the latest PvE patch, I think, where the damage bonus actually works now. Previously it didn't work, so now it actually works, and I actually prefer this one over Scholar Runes due to the nerfs to Scholar, and also to have the uptime of 90% HP is just ridiculous, because on SD you're never gonna be that unless, yeah, I don't even know, you're never 90% HP all the time. So it's a good, Scholar is still good for DP if you want the burst, because that's how you play DP. Burst, go out, burst, go out. But Infiltration for DP, for SD, that's what I run right now. And then just normal stuff, normal utilities. The utility that you can swap out in SD is basically between Roll for Initiative or Infiltrator Signet. It's up to you what you prefer. I've been running this a little bit, but at the same time, Roll for Initiative, it's good versus basically anything. So you can run that. People ask me, why do you swap Daggerstorm to Bassi sometimes? And that would mainly be because of the enemy comps. If the enemy comp runs a lot of Chronos, the Bunker Chronos or the Tank Chronos or whatever you want to call it, when they rotate between Shield and Scepter block, it's very hard to land Steel without Bassi. And if you think about it, Daggerstorm doesn't really give that much value anymore in terms of damage. So many people on Mirage or Chrono, they have so much amount of blocks, but most Mirage builds also run the mirror, like dodge, and they basically reflect anything, so you get no value on Daggerstorm anymore. It's mostly used as a defensive tool nowadays over actual damage. It's still good versus other classes like Holosmith or Scourges and stuff like that, but if you see a lot of like Mirages or or especially the Chronos, then Bassi, I would actually prefer Bassi. Okay, so let's swap to DP, and let me do, oh yeah, we can actually, sorry, I actually completely forgot. This is the traits for SD. I don't know why I run this, but this doesn't change much. The only two options that I swap around with is basically Thrill of the Crime and Haste. And if you ask me when do you run the other, I don't even know myself. I swap between them. Sometimes I prefer the quickness, sometimes I get tired of not having fury, so it's just up to you. Like, you get one less source of fury and swiftness, because this one is so long, 60 seconds to get fury swiftness of 7 seconds, compared to steel every 20 seconds and a longer duration. So it's just up to you. If you prefer the quickness, sometimes play with the quickness. If you prefer the more often fury and swiftness, play with that. It's just a preference. The last trait here, I think I play Assassin's Reward a lot when it's heavy condi comps. I don't feel the value of the one initiative every 5 seconds that much, honestly. So, I mean, the last trait line as well, it's just, I feel like all the 3 traits here are just bad. This one is just lackluster after the changes. It used to be one initiative every 1 second when you evaded, so it was good back then, but now, yeah, it's just whatever you want. I think you can even run Don't Stop if you want to. It's just any of these, but I think this is the most common one, and I sometimes run this one. Alright, so we go DP, we swap builds. This is the most common DP build you can play. This is the DP dash. It has been played since HOT. It's no difference in traits. Like, the only thing you do in Daredevil, there's a lot of options you can play with if you want to, but we'll do the normal setup of what I play. And this is basically what I've been playing most HOT, and I still play it in POF. So this is the most common one. The traits, they're just the same. Here, same things applies here. If you want lesser haste, if you want Thrill of the Ground, there's no difference. I also actually still run Infiltration. I don't really run that much Scholar anymore. But if you want to Scholar or Infiltration, it's up to you. The sigils stay the same. The other option you can go with when you play DP is Absorption. It's if you feel like you... I feel like Absorption is a bad utility, a sigil, because the Boon Rip or the Boon Rip table is horrible. It focuses mostly on swiftness, resistance. Like, it's like the things that you want to rip out of someone is obviously stability, which it can't, protection, maybe retail or whatever, like might, fury. Like, I don't really care about ripping swiftness. It's just useless in my opinion. And everyone has some sort of swiftness. So when you interrupt someone, they will probably apply it straight after. So those 3 seconds of cooldown, you will never rip anything of use. So that's why I actually dislike Absorption quite a lot. But it's still, if you prefer it, you can play it. Yeah, there's no difference in this build compared to how it used to be. It's the same. You might ask, why don't you run Bandit's Defense? It's a short stun break, especially when you trait it with brawlers. You might ask, why do I run brawlers over Havoc Mastery? But that's just basically for Channel Vigor. I feel like when you play DP and Daredevil, I cannot personally play without Channel Vigor. I feel like it's so bad. Like, if I had Channel Vigor for every build and I wouldn't run the cooldown reduction, I can't play without it. So yeah, Bandit's Defense, yes, sure, it's a block. But the thing is, when you play DP, you want to be as little visible as possible around the map. That's why DP Thief shined so much in the previous metas, because it was hard to know where a good DP Thief would rotate. You can never predict where he's moving around the map because you have no vision of him. Removing a utility that gives you vision, like that, another utility that gains, that gives you stealth, it's just another. It's easier for the enemies to see you and easier for them to know, okay, I'm gonna get +1, I'm gonna kite, and then you're not gonna end up killing them. It's the surprise moment that you need to kill people, and that's why you need Binding Powder. It's also good utility for stacking stealth with your teammates in the start. It's also good for, I mean, after the changes to Blinding Powder, it kind of got clunky, but it's still good for saving someone. Let's say our teammate here is under pressure. You can just Shadow Step, Blinding Powder, and they can kite away. It's just 3 seconds stealth, and those 3 seconds might actually be enough for you to save someone, for them to kite, to resustain themselves, etc. Can also be good if someone of your teammates are getting stomped and you are out cleaving someone, but they might actually get the stomp, but then you just Shadow Step and you Blinding Powder. Then I played around with another build in ranked that looks kind of like this, but I run something like this. But then I actually swapped to Centaur runes, or Centaur. The reason why I swapped to Centaur runes is because you don't have any access to swiftness with this build. Like, there's no swiftness whatsoever. But with Centaur runes, you get swiftness duration. You still gain power. Power as main stat is the most important stat you can have on the runes as a thief. I would never play I would never play a rune without power as main stat. It's just common knowledge, okay? So with this, we get 14 or 15 seconds of swiftness, which is enough to rotate most of the heals, including with the proc, right? So we can rotate these pretty well. Playing bound without swiftness, moving around the map, would just be horrible. Without, like, you would move so slowly around the map. And that's why I cannot play. Like, I mean, there's another rune that you could play, but I don't know. It's more up to you if you prefer that or the swiftness. You could play a Lynx rune, and you would actually get swiftness or like movement speed. I think you still don't run as fast as if you had swiftness. We could actually check. I think you run faster with swiftness. So that's why I still feel like, as a thief, it's still important. You need swiftness, you need mobility, you need to be able to move around the map no matter what. The only difference this build does is give you some more burst damage. So basically you gain 10% damage from bound, and with the Assassin Signet you gain a pretty big boost of damage. So we can do this and spike. That's 7.2 on a heavy target. If I played normal DP dash, I would never do that amount of damage, but at the same time I'm harder to kill, I'm faster around the map. So you have to take into the calculations that, okay, I can move faster from node B to C. In that window, will I be able to outnumber faster than the DP bound, etc., etc. You know what I mean. But DP bound, it's still a build you can play. I feel that you're easily CC'd in this build. I've seen a lot of people, they want to play Withdraw because you have no other way to cleanse. For example, Immobilize. The only way to cleanse Immobilize would be with Signet of Agility, right? And you don't want to blow Signet of Agility for Immobilize. Like, that's crazy. So you are vulnerable to soft CCs like that. For example, Chill or Cripple. Like, you cannot remove them as easily as if you were Dash. Then the second DP burst build, or like third, maybe it's actually called, is someone from NA who has been playing it. I played it a little bit. I like it. If you want to see big numbers, you play this build. This is the build. No difference here. It's just more burst. You lose improvisation, so it's very. The reason why I kind of dislike this build is that I don't see that I steal someone. You lose mug, so you cannot tell that you hit them with steal. So sometimes if you're very unused to the build, you actually don't know if you landed steal or not, since you don't see damage, you don't see poison. The only way you see it is if you actually have the stolen ability. But if you're not used to it, you will think, oh fuck, I missed my steal. And that's what happened to me. But this build shows very big numbers due to no quarter. I mean, you have more damage in this build. So yeah, it's more if you want to see big numbers. You lose improvisation, as I said. Like, it's a very good survival tool that you lose. Like, just the ability to reset Shadow Step, heal, roll for initiative, or whatever you run. Signet of Agility, Dagger Storm. Like, it's if you feel like you're dying a lot during a game, like, dying is never kind of acceptable as a thief. Like, the more you die, the more your team will be outnumbered and they will lose, because you could have been a bunker in that case, actually stalemated or dueled or actually won a 1v1. Instead, the roamer dies and you will just make your team suffer by doing that. But yeah, this is a build that you can play. It's fun. If you want to play it, try it. All right. Then we can go into World vs. World. Since a lot of you people, you ask me, what do you play in World vs. World? So my build is exactly the same in both game modes. The only difference that you will see in World vs. World that you might actually want to know is the stats. And I don't really have like, this is what I always play, like this is the amount of stats I play. I reroll between my characters quite a lot, between my human male, my human female, my Char, my Sylvari. And it depends on what gear I have on them. Sometimes I run 15k HP, sometimes I run 17k HP. I never run anything other than Berserker and Marauder. If you feel like you're hitting a soft spot with your own, like, if you swap out for more Berserker, you will have lower HP, but you will have more damage. You have to pick yourself, like, this is the scenario where I feel like, okay, 15k HP might be too little for me. I feel a bit too squishy. Then put some more Marauder. Go to 17k. Hell, you can even go up to 18, 19k. You can run full Marauder if you want to. If you feel that you're dying too easily, that it's nothing wrong with running Marauder. However, me as a thief, I would never swap Marauder or Berserker for like Knights or anything like that. I've seen a lot of tanky builds like that before, and if you want to play them, by all means play them. Foods, I run this one, minus 10% incoming damage and 70 power. I don't really run anything else, and the stones are just normal stones. I could actually show you one other build that I was running a little bit. This is an SD build that I was running during when the Acro trait Swindlers was bugged. I think this was it, yeah. It's nothing different, like it's just the same. You swapped for Daredevil, and I went Bandit's Defense for just an extra stun break. The runes I run in World vs. World is also Infiltration, both for DP and SD. And now I actually made a fucking build guide, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have any questions, just comment on my video. Okay, see ya.